it going with
Okay, as
this.
soon as you see where it says YouTube, then we live
I
when
see
it
it
pops up.
in about a few minutes.
It's on now.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Mixaholic Mondays, y'all. Welcome back. We here, special edition show with the legendary Circle City Band and the Funky Skunk Paul Thomas, the legend, talking about his experience with the legendary Switch. And also, we'll be hearing from Kermit the Superstar Maker and a few others too, as well. Just telling the background and giving us a great story about how everything transpired from the people that were there and did it themselves. So, nothing better than that. And we're going to chop it up tonight. So, with no further ado, your host tonight, the Funky Skunk, the legendary Paul Thomas, and I'm gonna go on mute. Salute.
Salute to everybody. Salute to the room. It's been a bittersweet thing for being personally friends with the members of Switch. Um, we go way back to 1981. By the way, I spoke with Greg uh, earlier today, and they just had two sold out shows back to back at Yoshi's in the Bay Area. And congratulations to them. And they said the spirit of Eddie Fluellen was definitely in the house. His family was there. Eddie just recently passed away, but Bobby and Tommy have been gone for a minute. The way that we met, man, was crazy because when I first went to Los Angeles, me and my drummer, well, I call him my drummer. He's actually the greatest drummer in the world, Rayford Griffin. Um, uh, we came out there in 1981, and a friend from the old days, the band Ebony Rhythm Funk Campaign, Pam Tanner, contacted me. Her mom lived right around the corner. I found myself in South Central LA at my aunt's house on right near the 20s, the Highway 10, and I was actually I had actually been recruited to come out there by a band called LTD, which is a band that Jeffrey Osborne sung with. And Pam knew that I was right around the corner from her mom's house, and she had a show, and that she said they needed a bass player and a drummer to play behind a young man from Akron, Ohio, Wuchie Wayne Arnold. And Wayne was from Akron and came out to Los Angeles in a band called the Soul Perfections, which was by way of Indianapolis. They were the backup band for Betty Wright. And they ended up out in LA uh, and got involved with several what we call party record comedians. One was Jimmy Lynch, the Funky Tramp, and the other one was Rudy Ray Moore. And they played behind Rudy Ray Moore in the film that he did called Dolomite. If you see in the film that the band that was playing, they had on all white and they had the perms and all that, and they're also featured in the spoof that Old Dirty Bastard did, that Baby I Got Your Money, the same band. And Wayne wanted to do a showcase. He had put a demo tape together. He wanted to do a showcase in that club to try to get a record deal. And I think it was with Leon Haywood and 20th Century Fox, if I'm not mistaken. But Wayne, the keyboard player for that band with Dolomite was James Ingram, which is the one that sung with Quincy Jones, Just Once, and Find 100 Ways, right? And Wayne, actually, they grew up in Akron together along with the other members of the Ingram family. The Ingrams have a really big family of singers, church singers, from singing gospel music. All of them can sing and play piano and keyboards, right? So when they recruited me and they needed a drummer, I got my drummer who had been playing with me, Rayford Griffin, which is the world famous Rayford Griffin that plays Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Madonna, John Luke Ponty, Stanley Clark. He's my go-to drummer for the Circle City Band. It has been since the first beginning of the Circle City Band, even the demo tapes, right? So I recruited Rayford, and me and Rayford came to the gig. They said, I know Philip Ingram, James's younger brother, and Zane Giles, who at the time was the guitar player for Switch, they're playing behind Wayne. And we got to, we rehearsed, and he took us to this other rehearsal spot called the Wilshire Fine Arts building over on Western. And that was like the headquarters for Solar Records artists. Basically, they gave us a rehearsal room in there. We were in there with Dynasty. First, excuse me, Leon Silvers was heading the band Dynasty. Dynasty was in there. Climax, and that was when Climax first started. Remember me and Punch, we did that show at the Murat, and Climax was there. I went up to Bernadette and I said, I don't think you remember me, but we met at the Wilshire Fine Arts Building. She said, oh my God, you done went back now, you know what I'm saying? Because that was when they first got their record deal. But in that setting, there was Howard Hewitt and Shalimar. Howard Hewitt is also from Akron. Then you got the Lakeside Boys. You got all of those groups were in there. We were the only ones that weren't on Solar Records, but we, rehearsing there. And we got to know, me and Philip and Rayford and Zane really got to know each other. And also the legendary songwriter Daryl Simmons, his older brother Dave Simmons was playing guitar with us too. So we got to know each other, and we played the showcase at the Total Experience Club, which is the same exact stage that they played behind Rudy Ray Moore in the movie Dolomite. And then after that, we played down at the Carlos and Charlie's in Hollywood also, and got to, it was a really nice set. I befriended Wayne and Philip and Zane. Zane ended up being a big time producer, and had some credits to his name that are legendary also as well. And man, that was the beginning of a long friendship. Since then, I also ended up meeting Tommy across the street from my auntie's house, where he was trying to produce another band called Oasis. And the drummer that played with Oasis, young cat named Jess Willard, his mother is part of the world famous Waters singing group family. And so Rayford had to go out on the road with John Luke Ponty. So Jess took over on drums for Rayford. And one of the times I went out there to pick him up for a rehearsal, he said, Michael Jackson just left, man. You just missed Michael Jackson. I was like, what? He said, yeah, man. I said, what's he doing? What's he doing here? He said, well, him and my mother and my auntie was rehearsing something for one of his albums. As it would turn out, they were rehearsing 2 songs. One was called PYT, which was actually written by James Ingram, Philip's brother, the lead singer, the secondary lead singer of Switch, PYT. And then the second one was You Want to Be Starting Something. And we just missed Michael Jackson practicing with him like about 15 minutes. Had we got there half an hour earlier, we'd have been right there with him, rehearsing with him. Mama say, Mama sa, Mama ku sa, and all that stuff. So we missed that, but later on we found out the deal that part of the deal that James Ingram was with, he was signed with 20th Century Fox. James Ingram actually wrote PYT, but he was signed with Leon Haywood, who, with the deal with 20th Century Fox, put out She's a Bad Mama Jamma. That's James Ingram playing keyboards on She's a Bad Mama Jamma, playing keyboards on PYT, and then I actually met Leon Haywood in that same setting with Jess's mom and all that. So later on down the line, when I was with LTD, we started having cross patterns with Switch, New Births, the Barcades, Confunction, George Duke Band, and all of this stuff, being out there on the strip in LA when all of these groups, or the Gap Band, definitely the Gap Band, the Total Experience Club was a club that was owned by Lonnie Simmons, which is the one that had Total Experience Records, who had the Gap Band signed to them. So we were rubbing elbows with what ended up being some of the greatest, most classical musicians and songwriters in the history of music. So I was a young pup, man. I mean, that was my first time out there really doing it. But that inspired me to just go ahead and become a serious musician. And after being on a stretch on the road with LTD and Confunction and Barcades, Zap, Aura, Rolls Royce, we were constantly on tour, and I honed my craft and came back home. And that's when I created the songs that ended up being my signature songs with Rayford's older brother, Reggie, and changed my life. And especially shout out to Greg, Eddie, Bobby, Tommy, Philip, Jody, and Michael McGlory, who's also the guitar player that played on all of Jermaine's solo records.
Yeah, so real quick, I'm sorry, because you rolling. Hey, listen, you rolling right now. I'm loving it. But so, because I'm getting in interview mode. So, okay, so with that being said, it changed your life like that and that chance meeting, like where did that like take your whole motivation? Because you got a great drive and a great work ethic now, all these years later. So I figured during that time is where that developed, as far as just, because you go hard at this music and at this business.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something.
And then and then after that, we're gonna get into a record and then continue all throughout.
I'm gonna tell you, man, I was inspired. I'm gonna answer that question in one simple word. The Griffin family. Reggie Griffin, Rayford Griffin, Thomas Sparkle Sox Griffin, Robbie Griffin. I was raised up around a band that was like no other, called a band out of here called Manchild. And Reggie Griffin started that band, and the lead singer, I grew up across the street from the lead singer. I was always playing, like trying to play bass, trying to play the organ, trying to play guitar, and like Switch, we played multiple instruments. But I was inspired by Reggie because when Manchild came out, and the lead singer grew up across the street from me, Kevin Flash Farrell, shout out to him, man. He's doing okay, but say a prayer for him as well. But Flash was an unusual character that I grew up looking at from a young kid. He was out on tours and on the radio when he was 15, 16 years old. I was like 11, 12 years old and listening to this dude on the radio. I knew he lived right across the street with this band called the Rhythm Machine. He switched over and started playing with Manchild. Manchild was like, I think he had like a 9-piece band with a horn section, and Reggie was only the saxophone. He was a tenor saxophone player. The next year, man, I come back. Not only did Reggie get rid of the whole horn section, but he was playing the sax with one hand, tenor sax, and the other horn parts with the other hand on the keyboard. Got rid of the whole horn section, became the horn section by itself, and then would have a guitar strapped on his back, and put the horn down and turn around and jump on the speakers like Jimi Hendrix or Prince or somebody, soloing guitar, and then playing on keys. Like, I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all know J. Cole, that song by J. Cole and Lil Yachty, the one where they freestyling on that? You know that punch? Anyway, that little sample is Reggie playing the saxophone. They just looped that little sample. That's Manchild, a song called We Need We. And they just looped it. That thing was, I saw it got like 10 million views, but that's just Reggie. He wrote that song by himself. I let Reggie borrow my bass guitar. And one time he said, man, I want to use your bass guitar. So I said, cool. So I went, we called the house, his mama's house, Manchild Manor. I went back to get my bass guitar. He said, hold on, come down to the basement. Went down to the basement. This dude had a reel-to-reel tape and all that, and he took my bass and was playing with the headphones on. And I said, what's that? Is that Man-Child? He said, no, that's me. I'm like, what? He said, that's me. And I said, how'd you do that? So he singled out each track and saw the one track had the drums, where he played the drums on the drum set, then went back, played the bass guitar, came back, played the keys, then the other lead guitar, and played the horns, and it sounded like the band. I told that dude, I said, look, man, if you teach me how to do that, you can use my bass guitar anytime you want to. So after that, he did a demo tape for me, and Raper was playing the drums on the demo tape. This kid from Indianapolis, I played bass on his record, and he was going to LA and said, hey man, I'm ready to take my demo tape. I'm going to press some 45s. I'm going out to LA. I'm gonna get a record deal. And I was like, well, man, here, take my tape. If somebody likes it, let them hear it. He gave that tape to the cat that Pam Tanner and them heard my demo tape and said, who is this? They knew who I was because my mom was hood famous. So LTD wanted to use my song. And so that's how I got out there to LA. And then next thing I know, Pam, the one that turned me on to him, got me with Philip Ingram with Switch. So it's really like a snowball effect. And me and Raper just happened to go out to LA at the same time. We ended up with them. We ended up in Stevie Wonder studio, all kind of stuff, man. They just took us all over the place. They embraced us as young musicians. But the thing about it is, that's in common, we all play multiple instruments. Switch, Reggie, Raper, even Raper plays keys and stuff like that. And we had a common background, and it all came from the Midwest. It all came from Ohio, Indiana, Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And I was a young pup, but I was right in line with that. And so those cats recognized us because we had all that in common, and we all got plaques, and we all changed the game, and we don't sound like nobody else.
Nah, facts. No, that's the thing about it too. And with
My
that being
work
said,
ethic came from that, being inspired with that.
oh, okay, for sure. Nah, definitely. That was a great answer. And we're gonna do the show in segments tonight. So we can
Greg wants
do
to come on. Greg wants to come and Rayford too wants to come on. Sorry tonight because due to this and that. By the way, they just sold two sold out shows at Yoshi's just this past weekend. And guess what? The bass player with Switch, James Strong, is Circle City Band bass player also on all the videos and stuff.
No, definitely. We're gonna do the show in segments tonight too as well. We're coming back with the next part with the Funky Skunk. Mixaholic Mondays, your boy DJ Punch 317 in the building. Salute our panel tonight. I see y'all in the building. Salute our YouTube audience. And we also are gonna be clipping this up as well. Because it's a lot of historic great things that's gonna be mentioned in this interview tonight. This is gonna be a real special edition where we're in here tonight. We in here.
We
All
in the
right, so
building.
let's get it, y'all. We're gonna get into a record in honor of Switch, who will be having June the 27th live with the Circle City Band. It's going down. Make sure y'all tap in for that. Tickets available now. So make sure y'all tapping in. We're gonna be talking about that all night as well. Any questions, comments, concerns? Reach out to me. Reach out to the Funky Skunk. We're gonna answer all your questions. All right. So